It's your boy J. Lou, and you are just in time for something new. Alright, now in today's video, I figured I'd make a video about how to wash your hair after a fresh cut. Now personally, I recommend you do this. I recommend you wash your hair before a cut, but there are a lot of people who they probably may not get the chance, or depending on what kind of barber you go to. If you go to a clean barber, you shouldn't have to worry about it if you wash your hair before. But if you go to a barber where you feel like he probably didn't wash his brushes or whatever the case is, you just want to make sure your hair is clean, then this video is just for you. So with that being said, the things that you're going to need is you're going to need a face cloth, right? And then you're also going to need conditioner. Now, we're not going to use shampoo because shampoo strips your hair. We're going to use only conditioner today. And then you're going to also need a brush and a do-rag. So with that being said, let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into the video. All right, so before we get into this process, most of you guys that are watching this video know for over a year I've only used combs and I did not use do-rags, right? So I'm gonna have a video coming pretty soon in regards to the reason why I switched back to using brushes and explain all of that stuff like that. But just know I haven't been brushing my hair as much. I haven't been combing my hair as much, and I definitely wasn't using do-rags. So with that being said, I'm gonna get back on the journey and get back on the grind. But this is how my waves look so far. What you guys may have noticed is on my previous video, I've lost a lot of definition or connections, I should say, on my left hand side. I cut a 4 against the grain, so my hair is literally like a 2 with the grain. And then when it comes to the back, for the longest I've struggled with my back waves simply because my back waves are so used to going in a 720 direction, but they're finally starting to want to connect to the 360s to be able to achieve that swirl hive look that I'm going for. When you look at my crown, you can see that the crown is definitely still looking pretty good. It's looking pretty solid. But like I said, the back is giving me the biggest issue because my hair naturally wants to slant down. After over, I think it's been 2 years, my hair was going in that 720 slant. So it's taken me a while, but another thing is the back of my head, since I wasn't wearing a do-rag, sleeping, moving around like that, definitely slowed the progress down. But when you look at the top of my waves, as you can see, because I don't sleep on the top of my head, who does, right? My top waves on this journey have lined up amazing, right? You know, so my top is looking pretty good. And then my right side, like I told you guys, for the longest, it was taking a while for these rings to form for my crown, but they're finally forming and the 360s are finally coming back in. I'm still fighting this 720 look right here when it comes to how my waves naturally wanted to go, and you can kind of see it right now. It's the 720 direction of my waves. Even though I've been brushing straight forward like this, that's one thing I'm overcoming, but that's how my hair looks as of right now after a fresh cut. So with that being said, let's go into the details. So when it comes to using this stuff, the science behind the reason why this method works is because a lot of people typically when it comes to washing their hair, they fail to understand simple chemistry, right? Whenever you get your hair cut, your hair is in the easiest state to become damaged. The reason why I say that is because once you cut your hair, it exposes your hair cuticle, and what happens is, what most wavers do is they'll wash their hair after they get their hair cut and they say,
"Oh man, J. Lou, what happened, man? My wave, I lost my waves, blah, 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 blah."
The sad reality is there's multiple reasons why this phenomenon occurs. I'm only gonna focus on one. I'm probably gonna make a video in the future going over the few reasons why. But after you get a fresh cut and you introduce water into your hair, most people typically use hot or warm water to wash their head. They scramble wash, or they may even do a washing style, whatever the case is. But that hot water, which you guys have to keep in mind, is similar to concrete. You guys know I went to school for engineering. One of the things that I had to study was the cracking and swelling of concrete and material when it came to sidewalks and roads and any kind of structure that involves concrete. Concrete is similar to our hair. It's very porous in nature, which simply means water can get absorbed into the concrete, and that's what porosity stands for. So when it comes to concrete, what you guys may notice, if you're walking down the street, every now and then you may see a crack in the concrete. And the reason why is whenever it rains, water gets into the concrete. If it doesn't evaporate fast enough, when it's hot, like during the summertime and everything of that nature, the concrete expands. When the temperatures cool down, the concrete contracts, right? That is swelling and contracting leads to cracks because concrete isn't made for that. Concrete is more made to when you push things, for compressive forces used against it, right? Similar to your hair structure. Whenever it comes to your hair, if you are introducing hot water into your hair, what it's gonna do is it's going to expand your hair cuticle. Now, the reason why you lose your waves or the appearance of them is because when your hair cuticle swells, that messes up your definition. And depending on how low your hair is, what may happen is you'll just totally lose the definition of your waves, and then you'll have to wait till your hair gets back to curl length, or you have to wait till your hair cuticle closes up. Now, the reason why we're gonna use cold water today and only a face towel is to try to avoid that scenario, right? This is a long explanation just to get into the method, but you guys need to understand this stuff because it will help you along the process, right? So when it comes to doing this, you simply wanna take your washcloth, run it under ice cold water, right? As much as you can stand when you apply it to your scalp, right? So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and run this under some water and we'll get into the process. All right, now after you've ran it under the faucet and gotten it under pretty cool, what you wanna do, I simply just fold my towel in sections of 4s. So I'll basically fold it like this, and then I'll fold it over one time again, just so to be sectioned off like this. And I simply take it on my hand and rub it with the direction of my pattern. Since I have 360s, it's a lot easier because all I have to do now is simply take my hand like this and rub it starting from my crown out, right? The main reason why I'm doing this is after a fresh cut, you want to remove those excess hairs. This is a great way to allow you to remove those excess hairs as well as wipe away any dirt, grime, or whatever it may be in your scalp or in your head, you know? So that's the reason why I'm doing this like that. You know, it doesn't take a lot, but you just definitely want to make sure you go wipe it around your whole entire head just to help get your hair at least somewhat saturated. You do not want your hair to be completely wet. That's one reason why we avoid the shower, because when you get into the shower, even if it is cold water, that cold water is going to get into your cuticles, swell your cuticles up, not as much as the hot water will, but it still will swell your cuticles up, and ultimately you'll lose definition when it comes to your waves. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a conditioner, right? Today I'm going to be using the Shea Moistures. This is the low porosity conditioner. They no longer make this, but you can use whatever conditioner you want. If you want to use that cheap VO5, go ahead and do that. You know, at the end of the day, this doesn't matter. The products doesn't matter when it comes to this method. So I'm going to take a little bit and just basically apply it through my hands just like this, get an even distribution, and then rub it tap it in my pattern like this, because I want to make sure it goes everywhere. And the reason why we're going to use conditioner is because shampoo strips your hair, right? Conditioner still cleans your hair, but conditioner, one of the biggest benefits of conditioner is it restores your hair to a natural pH balance level. What a lot of people don't understand is with shampoo, not only does it strip your hair, but it also helps your hair swell up as well, because in order to clean your hair, your cuticle needs to be open, you know? So like I said, I'm gonna get into a video in the future in regards to the science behind that kind of stuff. But with the conditioner, I rub it through my head and basically get it through my pattern like that. Now, the next thing I'm gonna do is take my brush and simply run some cold water only on the bristles, only on the face of the bristles. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys right quick. So right here in this step, what I'm simply going to do is turn the cold water on. And like I said earlier, I'm only gonna run the water on the face of the bristles. Like that. The reason why you wanna do this is because you don't want the water to get all the way down to the face of the brush. That helps preserve your brush. But at the same time, if you have a shower wash brush from Brush King, those brushes are better to use when it comes to the situation. You don't have to worry about the face of the brush getting wet. But that's the reason why I'm doing it this way. Now, after you have rinsed your brush off, what you want to do is when you're not using it, make sure you put it on your towel like this to be able to put it on the countertop as such, you know. So whenever I put it down on the countertop, I want it to be just like this, because I don't want the brush to be face down, because water's gonna get back into the brush. That could also lead to cracking of the wood and everything, depending on the type of brush that you use. All right, now with your brush, what you're gonna do is simply brush your hair in the direction that your pattern is going in, as such, like this. So I'm gonna take the brush and just simply brush my pattern. You have brushed your hair as long as you want to. You can do it for 5 minutes, you can do it for 15, you can do it up to 30. The main reason why you're brushing your hair is because you want to knock out those loose hairs, so whenever you go to sleep, you don't have a whole bunch of hair all around, and et cetera, et cetera. And then once you got to that point where you feel like you've brushed enough of them out, all you have to do is simply take your brush again, run it underneath the cold water on the bristles alone, just so you can get that conditioner rinsed off of your bristles on the brush, because conditioner is soft. It makes not only your hair soft, but it can also make the bristles soft. So you don't want the conditioner to stay on there. With conditioner, I typically leave it in my head for 3 minutes. So with the brush session, what that does is it allows me to allow it to be in my head for up to 3 minutes, up to 5, maybe even 15, depending on how long I brush. And then we're gonna get into the next step. So let me go ahead and rinse my brush off first, and then we're gonna get into the next step. Oh, and I forgot to mention, when you rinse off your brush, you wanna use warm water in this regard, just to help rinse out the conditioner, because cold water isn't really effective in regards to rinsing out conditioner, especially on the bristles, just because they're a little bit more tougher in that regard. But with our hair, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use cold water. All right, now in the next step, what we're gonna do is simply go back to our washcloth. We're gonna rinse this bad boy off again under cold water, and then we're gonna go through and try to rub away the conditioner out of our scalp. Now, another thing that you can do to substitute is, if you don't want to use conditioner, you can simply use a leave-in conditioner. So then, therefore, after you brush your hair, you don't have to worry about removing the conditioner out of your hair. And with that case, it kind of helps you with this process. But the reason why we use conditioner is because if you only wash your hair with conditioner, it serves as a co-wash. I explain that in a lot more greater detail in this video right above here when I go over the As I Am co-wash product. But you want to make sure you use cold water to rinse off the washcloth, and then we're gonna rub our waves with the direction of our pattern. All right, now once we have gotten the towel, what we want to do is just simply rub our hair in the direction that our pattern goes in, and you want to try to rub it with some force, because the whole purpose of this is to try to remove all the conditioner out of your scalp. Now, if you have a beehive or a swirl hive, like in my case or whatever the case is, a lot of people typically avoid the center part of their crown. You really don't want to miss that. You really want to get into the middle of it. If you have to be very precise, what you want to do is get the towel and then just go start off in the center and rub out in the direction of your pattern to try to get as much conditioner out of your hair as possible. Every now and then you may have to rinse off the washcloth to remove the conditioner that you've already removed from your hair. So that's what I'm going to do right quick. Now on this step, you don't necessarily have to use the 4/4 of the towel. You can use the full towel, and what I'm going to do is simply wipe as much away of the conditioner from my scalp. This will help speed it up, and then if I need to, I can flip it around and use another side of the towel in order for me to remove as much conditioner from my hair as possible. So that being said, that's what I'm about to do. Flip it around just like that, and then just use this end and then just rub it through my pattern as such. And what you guys are noticing is that my waves are still there. I haven't lost any definition in my waves, but this is helping to clean my hair. So therefore, once I'll be done with it, this, like I said, this is the best way to wash your hair after a fresh cut and not lose any definition or lose your waves. So. All right, now once you've gone through and you've used the washcloth to rub across your head, in order to know if your hair is clean out with the conditioner, there's a term that a lot of naturals typically use whenever they're washing their hair, and it's called slippage. Most wavers don't know really what this is, and if you do, it's probably because of your girlfriend, your wife, your fiance, or whatever the case is, or unless you watch natural hair videos. Slippage in this case is, the way I'll know if I remove the product out is if my hands are completely dry, right? You wanna make sure they're completely dry. And what you wanna do is you wanna rub them through your hands. And if your hands slip, then what that means is there's still product in that section of your hair, and you need to go back with the washcloth, just rub it in the same pattern, use a little bit more force, a little bit more elbow grease to be able to get the products out your hair. But you want to rub it through your hands to make sure that you don't have any slippage in any areas of your head. Sometimes what you can do is use the fingertips, but while I'm doing this, I don't feel any slippage throughout my hair or my waves. When you do it, you want to make sure you rub your hands down a little, somewhat hard. If you do it lightly, of course your hands are going to easily slip across your waves. But if you do it with a little bit of force, you'll notice that you don't really have that slippage when it comes to your hair. So with that being said, I'm done at this point. The last thing that we have to do in this process is simply apply products to our hair and then rag up. All right, now the product that I'm gonna be using today, I know a lot of people have been asking me to make more videos on my product, but it's the Texas Tea. This is the Texas Tea Butter. Now, when I first made the product, the first version of it came out it was more like a buttercream, and I'll show you guys the differences right quick. But with this butter, this is the updated formula just for a natural butter, the texture that most people are used to. This has a lot more solid consistency. If you turn it up down like that, no product comes out. The first version of it, which is my favorite version of it, I'm gonna bring it back, but this is like the buttercream version of it, you know. So as you guys can see, when you look at it, it has a little bit more of a liquidy texture to it. In order for it to remain as a solid, you have to leave it in the refrigerator because this is a true butter, you know. I'm gonna use this one today because it gives me the results that I'm looking for, like the best results. I'm going to bring this one back. Just give me some time. I've been just doing a lot of different things, but I'm just simply gonna take a fingertip amount. Since I have a fresh cut, I don't need a lot of product. Rub it into my hands just like this. When I got an even distribution across my hands, what I typically do is just pat it in the direction of my waves. I also pat a few times in my crown. Because I have a swirl hive, I pat directly in my crown, and then I rub away from my crown. The main reason why I pat in my crown is because I want to make sure I get products all in my crown area. A lot of wavers typically neglect this, especially after a fresh cut, and you'll be wondering why your crown itches like crazy. You never want to neglect your crown. Everything starts from your crown. So with that being said, I'm gonna just rub the rest of my products throughout just like this. And once you're done, this is the last step. what you want to make sure you do is you take a do-rag. Now in this case, I am using a do-rag. I believe this is from Rag Dealer. You know what I'm saying? I bought a few do-rags from him a while ago, but some other people that you can get do-rags from that I trust is CJ Monsoon, his Monsoon Caps, and then it's my boy, he's on IG, he goes by Waivers at Heart, you know, so they all three, in my personal opinion, are the people, if you want to look for do-rags, you can go to. But with that being said, I'm gonna simply just take my do-rag, and y'all know my method. I'm actually kind of glad to be going back to do-rags, mainly just because of the fact that this is profit loop, you know, so I take my stocking cap just like this. This is a Monsoon cap. This is a sports cap, you know, so I just take it just like this, apply it on my head, and this is how I rock my do-rags. You know what I'm saying? If you want to see the reason why, I'll make sure I link a video right above here. But I leave this on my head for 15 up to 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, I'll go ahead and show you guys what my waves look like and show you that I was able to maintain my waves, not lose my waves through this process. All right, I decided to only wear my do-rag for, I think it's been about 10 minutes, but I'm gonna go ahead and unrag and show you guys because I got some other stuff I gotta take care of. So let's go ahead and show you what the waves are looking like. Let's go ahead and do this. It's been a minute since I did an unrag, so. As you all can see, like I said, the title of this video, how to maintain your waves after washing them. This is the best way to be able to do it. Most times people lose progress, they lose definition after washing their hair for the obvious reasons that I've stated. But like I always say, I don't give you guys bro science. I actually give you the science so you can know how to take care of your hair and get the results that you're looking for. So that being said, we got a lot of work to do with this pattern. But it's your boy J. Lou. Hope you guys have a great day. Salute.